Welcome to the Master Conspiracy Channel. I created this channel to help like-minded people research things that normal people seem to disregard. I will be giving my interpretations on many different subjects that might turn out to be incorrect, or it might be deemed to have some weight to the matter. Regardless, please feel free to follow along. I would also like to ask you to subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell to be notified when I post a new video. With that being said, pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee, and let's get to it. I am discussing today CERN and the conspiracies that surround it. First of all, what is CERN? CERN is the European Organization for Nuclear Research. The name CERN is derived from the acronym for the French Conseil Européen pour la Recherche Nucléaire. I probably butchered that, but that's what it actually stands for. And was a provisional body that was founded in 1952. With the mandate of establishing a world-class fundamental physics research organization in Europe. So, what do they do? In a very small nutshell, CERN studies the tiniest particles in the universe. CERN uses some of the world's most advanced equipment to do this, including the Large Hadron Collider. They do this by taking particles and smashing them into each other and then measuring the resulting collision to measure what occurred. Now, there have been conspiracy theories flying about concerning CERN. So, let's see if there's any truth to these. Number one, CERN is going to create a black hole that will swallow the world. Possible, although extremely unlikely. The crashing of particles together are so minute and so extremely brief that they do not have enough mass to create a lasting black hole. A micro black hole can have any mass equal to or above about 2.2 times 10 to the negative 8 power kilograms, or 22 micrograms. That is the Planck mass. To make a black hole, one must concentrate mass and energy sufficiently that the escape velocity from the region in which it is concentrated exceeds the speed of light. This is what makes it black. According to scientists, a black hole with the mass of the Sun will last 10 to the 67th power years. If you are curious on what that looks like, that is a 1 followed by 67 zeros. That's how long a black hole the size of the Sun would last in years. If you happen to turn the Eiffel Tower into a black hole, it would evaporate in about a day. Now, I want you to know that the smaller a black hole gets, the less mass it has to hold up its structure, and therefore the shorter amount of time it will last, exponentially. When we are talking about smashing particles into each other, and they do happen to form a black hole, the amount of time that this black hole would exist is measured in Plancks. I'm not going to explain what a Planck is. I want you to go look it up. Number two, another of the theories is due to a delay to the super collider not working correctly in the beginning, was that a future version of CERN somehow was attempting to stop itself from working. Let's think about this. Assuming CERN somehow becomes self-aware, it won't, and then decides to save the human race, it must keep itself from becoming operational in the first place. It travels to the past somehow and forces itself from ever becoming operational. thereby stopping what happens in the future. But there is a problem here. If it travels to the past and does force itself to never be started, then how does it ever become aware to make that decision in the first place? This is a paradox and will not occur. Number 3, CERN is going to open a portal to a dark world, or maybe even hell itself. Well, the strange thing here is scientists typically don't believe in God and the devil. My belief is that there is no one in hell today. Nobody is there because hell is the final resting place for those who have rejected Christ and is the place to which they are assigned after judgment. After the day of final judgment, then hell receives its population. If you look in the Bible, Revelation 20:12 through 15 states, "And I saw the dead, small and great, standing before God, and books were opened. And another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged according to their works, and by the things which were written in the books. The sea gave up the dead who were in it, and death and Hades delivered up the dead who were in them. And they were judged, each one according to his works. And then death and Hades were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death, and anyone not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire." This will include Satan. Not to get into a philosophical discussion here, but there are 3 heavens right now. You have the atmospheric heaven, which we breathe, the celestial heaven, which is the stars, and then paradise. And I can hear you thinking, then where is Satan? Well, I believe that he is here on earth. And before you say, see, it says right there, death and Hades. Well, Hades is the land of the dead. It is not hell. I would say that Hades is more like purgatory, if you want to believe in that. But enough of that. Let's continue. Number 4, CERN is going to cause a cataclysmic shift of Earth's magnetic poles resulting from the activation of the Hadron Collider. Not possible. I do think that the Earth's magnetic poles have reversed in the past, but I believe that this would have to be done on a major scale. Something like, I don't know, the sun. Number 5, CERN could accidentally summon God. If you are like me and actually believe in God and follow the teachings of Jesus Christ, then you know this to be wrong. To think that humans have that kind of power is extremely conceited and just plain idiotic. Besides, God is trying to bring us to Him, not the other way around. Number 6, CERN is in the process of building a Stargate, a portal to another time or place, to allow the return of the Anunnaki. I am not even going to entertain this conspiracy. The Anunnaki do not exist. There are also indications that Saturn somehow has something to do with CERN. And honestly, I don't know how this fits in, but let's explore it anyway. The following is from a popular anti-CERN website. The logo for CERN is disguised as 666, and Hadron Particle Collider that could open the bottomless pit. The Vatican and the Jesuit order funded CERN for a reason. Some even say half of all children will be autistic by 2050. The D-Wave adiabatic quantum computers use a mathematical version of the Enochian alphabet from John Dee, the language of the fallen angels, to communicate with billions of entities in millions of dimensions to derive its super-fast quantum computations. The D-Wave adiabatic quantum computer model 8192 has 8,192 qubits and is the most powerful computer in the world with virtually unlimited processing power. It could be used by CERN, particle collider, in Geneva to open portals to another dimension, in the CERN scientists' own words. Saturn is equated with the number 6 and being the 6th planet from the Sun. Historically, the god was symbolized by the hexagram called the Seal of Solomon, mistaken today for the Star of David, blah, 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 which is essentially a 6-sided hexagon surrounded by 6 triangles, the whole shape drawn with 6 lines, and you get 666, the mark of the beast. Each of the 6 triangles also have 6 equal angles of 60 degrees. Oh, okay. So let's break this down and start from the top. Let's look at the logo for CERN first. Maybe, just maybe, the 6 images that you see are actually the starting points for the particles to begin at. And this is what it is showing. You can't just drop a particle into a loop and expect it to start moving. You have to give it a push. You know what other kind of track does that? Number 2, the Vatican simply wants to send a scientist, priest, to study at CERN. Whether it is to keep tabs on what is happening or there is something else nefarious occurring is unknown at this time. It is interesting, however, that a priest has been invited to the CERN laboratories, but just because they did does not mean that something else is afoot. It's possible, but doesn't exactly indicate nefarious goals.
You mean not good like 1 out of 100?
I'd say more like 1 out of 1,000,000.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
Number 3, the Star of David is not a 6-sided hexagon surrounded by 6 triangles. It is simply 2 triangles laid on top of each other. Let's look at what happens when I do the same with other shapes. Let's start with a square. This is a normal square, and this is what happens when you lay 2 squares on top of each other. Let's try a pentagon. Here is a pentagon, and here is what 2 pentagons look like laid on top of each other. How about a hexagon? Here is a hexagon, and this is what a hexagon looks like with another one laid on top of it. And as far as each of the 6 triangles also have equal angles of 60 degrees, well, yeah. That's because, number 1, they are equilateral triangles, and the sum of all angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So in an equilateral triangle, all of the angles are equal, therefore 60 degrees for each angle. And sure, the inside of a Star of David is a hexagon. 6 sides, remember? But what happens when you connect all of those angles together? Let's look at this. Some of these conspiracies do have a little weight to them, but others are, shall we say, lacking. As I have said in the past, I am a conspiracy theorist. This means that I have a theory about a subject. But what I believe makes me different is the fact that I also think about that theory and whether or not it carries any weight. Please, I ask you, do the same. And think about your theories thoroughly before you post them online. It will eventually help non-theorists to believe that we are all not just a bunch of nutbags. Thank you for tuning in to the Master Conspiracy. I feel honored that you have taken a little of your time out of your day to visit my channel. If you like the information presented here today, I would ask you to please click the subscribe button at the bottom of this video and the notification bell to be alerted whenever I do post a new video. I will be posting new content here every Saturday. But until then, know that the truth is out there.